Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man Free Part 4. So now we're going back to Gemini Mans again, which level's been horribly altered and corrupted and destroyed since the last time we went. So it's gonna be much more of a nightmare this time around. This really spaced out nightmare, 'cause it looks like we're in space, or there's stars everywhere. We're on some icy platform surface thing, where enemies from Doki Doki Panic keep dropping out of the sky, only to torment us further. And now they have larger gaps we have to jump over. But these gaps aren't that large. Mega Man has enough hand-eye coordination and hand-leg coordination to properly jump through everything. So yeah, it's not really a challenge. We don't even need Rush to help get us past this. They keep getting us useless pickups, like energy pickups, which are completely useless right now because we refill extra energy every time you clear one of these levels. Even though these are not Robot Master levels, it still gives you a full refill of energy after you complete each level for this, so that's good that they do that. We're taking a lot of hits, but Mega Man's clearly really strong because the hits don't seem to be doing a lot of damage. So here's where we met Breakman last time he came here. Breakman blew a hole in the floor. As you can see, the hole that Breakman blew in the floor is still there from before, and they haven't bothered to clean it up yet. I don't know, maybe it was out of their budget or something like that to build a new floor. And was Breakman even supposed to break the floor at all? I don't know, it was in Breakman, or whoever the villain of this game. I don't know what their budget was. Maybe they didn't have the budget to fix the floors in there. Maybe the people at Capcom are just too lazy. So obviously reuse this level. They want to make more levels in the game. They don't know how, so it's fine. Let's just take the few levels let's just take 4 of the levels we already made and just make them harder and change some things around. Yeah, it's a more challenging level now. Now I don't have to make any more levels. We don't have to make as much more levels now. It would save them time and effort, which from an economic standpoint that may have been good, but to a lot of gamers that might seem very lazy. Then again, a lot of things in gaming are built on laziness. You know, gamers are lazy people in general, right? Why do you think Linux commands are so short and simple? Because Linux is obviously made by lazy people. Remember, so now we're going after the laziest Robot Master in the series, Flash Man. He's pretty fat, he's pretty lazy, which is why he's really fat. And he can really destroy us easy by jumping on us because he's that bulgy from all the sitting down he does and the lack of exercise he gets. But the Metal Blade was his weakness the first time around, but now destroy him easy with the Needle Cannon, or Needle Man's weapon, whatever it's called. Because Needle Man's weapon is just like Metal Man's weapon, only you can't aim it in 8 directions like you could with Metal Man. That's because the people that made the weapons this game, they didn't know anything about making good weapons. They actually made the weapons suck. Or maybe, I don't know, or maybe Breakman has something to do with that, so it will impede Mega Man's quest to defeat Breakman and save the world from this new villain that's taking over. So we could demonstrate something we didn't have the first time we came to this level, the Rush Marine, where Rush transforms into a magical red submarine that can go under the water. It's pretty much just like Rush Jet, but it works underwater, which I think Rush Jet can also be used underwater too, so if you have Rush Jet, this is kind of redundant. Or maybe it was just made so you could save energy on the Rush Jet, so you don't have to use Rush Jet as much. But it's really kind of pointless. The Rush Marine's kind of pointless. Only you see it in one other game after. I think it was Mega Man 4, and after that, the Rush Marine is pretty much gone. We don't really see it much in the later games, because it's really useless. In fact, we don't see Rush at all much in some of the later Mega Man games. He's completely gone, like completely erased from the game's history, almost in the way to make it seem. Like, especially like the more modern classic Mega Man games. That sounds like an oxymoron, but I mean the Mega Man games after the NES and SNES era, we start getting to the PS1 era, which then after that, there weren't really a lot of classic Mega Man games after that. Most of the classic Mega Man games were on the NES. And so, we're going to be fighting against, we're underwater, who do you think we'll be fighting against? That's, oh look, it's Bubble Man, the ghost of Bubble Man is going to be taking over that robot. He was weak against the Metal Blade the first time around, so we'll use Metal Blade again, the one we got from Shadow Man. It really destroys him. That doesn't destroy him as much as the Metal Blade did in Mega Man 2. He's actually a bit more aggressive in this game than Bubble Man. He does more damage against us. I guess Bubble Man's soul, his robotic soul, was really training for a rematch with us after we destroyed him in the last game in Mega Man 2. Because Bubble Man was the weakest Robot Master in Mega Man 2. He was the top man in Mega Man 2. His weapon was not the best. It wasn't a bad weapon, but it wasn't the best. So naturally, they would make it the only thing that could harm the final boss of Mega Man 2. So look at that. This Shadow Man stage again. And oh, look, instead of there being a a whole stream of red liquid in the background. They just added a lot of spikes there. They just randomly throw spikes here and there, hoping that we'll run into them and kill them. But if you stay on the ladder, they don't really do anything. They're just made to look intimidating, but they don't really do much. There's this Mega Eye, this new type of Mega Eye with the nice shading and coloring that they put on, because the NES is capable of doing that, which is something you don't really see as much in earlier NES games. But it's a later NES game now, so because the NES really did last a long time, actually. It came out in around 1985, and they were still making games for as late as 1995. The last licensed game, I think, was Wario Woods, which came out in like 1994, I think. The only game on the original NES that has an ESRB rating of KA. And then there are a few, and those are the games that came out in 1995 for the NES were unlicensed games, those unlicensed Bible games you've watched AVGM play a lot of. There weren't really very many good games, although there were some in the later years. Like Mega Man 6 is one of the last good games on the original NES, and that game came out in 1993, way well into the timelines of the SNES and Genesis. Those systems are well out and established, and they still like making games for the original NES. The NES really lasted a lot longer than people give it credit for. It has one of the largest game libraries known to man, which at the same time, that also mean it has a monopoly of crappy games, because the NES has more crappy games than any other system you could think of. I mostly know that from watching like AVGN and Stan Birdman and all those other game reviewers used to watch a lot of back in the day. The NES really does have a lot of charm to it. I think there might even be some indie developers that might still make games for NES or games that could be played on the NES. I wish they'd make more Mega Man games for NES or Mega Man-like games for the NES. That would be good. So Woodman's gone now too. Woodman was also weak against the needle weapon because he was weak against what's he called? The metal blade. No, he wasn't weak against the metal. I don't remember now. But Woodman isn't that challenging. He's made out of wood. It makes sense if Heatman's weapon was his weakness because, he's Woodman. He's probably made out of wood and wood burns. He probably gets burned easy. And of course they throw these parachuting things down. This looked like they came right out of Super Mario World, which came out around the same time as this game, or shortly after. It's not long after this game. Super Mario World came out on the SNES. This is the original NES. This is almost like an old guy saying, I still got it. I'm the NES, and I still got it. I mean, a lot of parents didn't want to buy their kids an SNES because it was really expensive when it first came out. A lot of parents didn't think it was worth it to buy kids the new NES. I don't know how, there was a news report about that too. I don't know how I'm going to break this to my kids, but I can't buy them a Super NES for Christmas this year. They'll have to stick with the regular NES. Heck, I was born a generation after them, and that was definitely the case for me. I had an NES. I was born in 97, and I had an NES growing up as a kid, but I never had an SNES. I wanted an SNES, but I never got one, so I was just stuck to playing games on the NES, the regular NES. It still was a fun, entertaining system, though. Still had some of the greatest games, like these Mega Man games. So now we're going after Heat Man, Cigarette Lighter Man, as I like to call him sometimes. See how Dr. Wily was playing with a lighter once and thought, ooh, this is cool, this is awesome, I should make a robot out of this, and thus Heat Man was born. Heat Man? What kind of name is Heat Man? What could Heat do? I mean, not sure Heat could damage a lot of things, but I don't think Heat is much of a flaw of an issue to Mega Man. He's probably made out of heat-resistant materials. Fireman was the real challenge. Maybe Heatman was just trying too hard to be like Fireman. So now we destroyed all his enemies. Now we can take on Breakman, the main villain of this game. Let's go fight Breakman. Let's see what Breakman wants. Oh, look, he's still doing his usual routine where he jumps around and shoots at us. Oh, jump, jump, shoot, shoot, jump, jump, shoot, shoot, jump, jump, shoot, shoot. Then we have to shoot at him with our standard weapons. That's the only thing that seems to be able to harm Breakman. There, we broke Breakman. And what's this? Dr. Light. Oh no, right after we received the last element. What is it, Santa? Speak up. Wily ran off with Gamma. Gamma was a peacekeeping robot they were building together. Apparently Dr. Wily stole Gamma and now it's gonna use him for evil. Oh boy, looks like Dr. Wily betrayed us. Why are we not surprised? We know that Dr. Albert Einstein Wily was always the mastermind behind the plots in the first two games, so it only makes sense he was going to betray us considering what he's done to us in the past. Why didn't we see this coming? Mega Man should have saw that coming a mile away, but he can't because he's Mega Man, because he's one of the greatest heroes imaginable, and all the world's greatest heroes always have some kind of flaw. They're always too trusting. That's Mega Man's biggest flaw. He's way too trusting of people. He always assumes that people are good when they're not, and in this case, it just came back and bit him in the ass for doing that. So I guess that, kind of makes sense in that way that Mega Man would get betrayed by being too trustworthy of people. So now we're at Dr. Wily's place. It looks like more of what could have been his castle from Mega Man 2. Got the Dr. Wily logo planted everywhere, and now we're into something that's very reminiscent of Iceman stage from Mega Man 1, where we'll go under the water and there's ice penguins coming around or coming after us, bite onto us and stuff like that. Can't go in there. It looks like you can go in that tube, but from Mario, and I mean, it would take you to Super Mario Brothers or something like that if you went in that tube. So you need the hard knuckle, the hardest hard knuckle in the game, to break those walls. That's what the hard knuckle primarily does. It breaks walls, so we can pick up that 1-up that was hiding under there. There's a 1-up hiding there, so now we have another life. If you need as many lives as possible. There's another E-tank and some health and some energy. Yep, we're gonna have to get those two. You're gonna stop and get the hard knuckle out again, so you get those. If only you could use special weapons while using Rush, but nah, they weren't that advanced when they made this game. May have been due to limitations of the NES, I don't know. The NES did have its limitations. Then again, this level actually does look really well detailed. Again, it reminds me of something out of the Batman game for the NES. This is how well detailed it looks. Because Batman on the NES is one of the most detailed games I know of on the NES. It still stays in reasonable limits. It doesn't push the limits of the NES like that stupid NASCAR game I saw AVGN play. It wasn't AVGN, it was Stan Birdman that play NASCAR for the NES. And most of them agreed that, yeah, that was just way too much what the NES was capable of. Racing games of that type don't belong on the NES. They should have saved this for the SNES, or heck, maybe not even. I think PlayStation did so that well. I played NASCAR Rumble a lot on the PlayStation, and that's a pretty good racing game. Well, I know Southern Ray Phoenix is a big fan of it. I think he likes to drink some beers while he watches NASCAR, plays NASCAR. So he destroyed. Oh, look at that. It's another thing, or another one of those reappearing, disappearing block puzzles. Does the game really think we're that stupid? We have Rush on our side. We can get past this without any trouble at all, thanks to Rush. And look at that. They even give us energy. It's like they keep giving us everything on a silver platter. They're spoiling us. No wonder why kids are spoiled these days. No wonder why kids from the 90s were always so spoiled. I feel like back in the good old days when they were born of nothing and they had to just play with what they had. So you'll say that the fact we cured boredom is the reason why there's a lack of creativity in our world. And this boss is a good example of a lack of creativity in our world. He's just gonna throw turtles at us that we could easily destroy if our Metal Blade. There was a boss that was just like this in Mega Man 2. This is the same thing, but easier. And they keep rehashing. I never realized how much of a rehash of Mega Man 2 this game was. At least they did think. At least it was for the better. I mean, at least they took what was good about Mega Man 2 and made it better. Which I guess you should give them credit for. If you're gonna rip off something, you might as well rip off your own thing. That was good. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.